All right, what's up, everybody? I'm watching on my computer here as I do this so that I can see any questions that may come up. There's a little bit of a lag, so it is what it is. I'll try to do the best I can with any comments or questions, although I don't think I'll be able to see them on here anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'll see if comments. Esri, Austin, what's up? Yeah. So whoever else, let's see. Guys, thanks for tuning in. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about our next 30 days. What I've been discussing with some of our members, some of my friends, reading stuff in the media. You know, I'm not a talking head on this, but I do have some insight on some pieces of it, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to psychoanalyze everybody. But there are some things that we can do right now, and the reason that we, Grapevine CrossFit, myself, are doing some of the things that we're doing with our training and other things like that. So, what's up, Esri? So, where to start? 30 days later. So we know that we're in this for the long haul here for a bit, at least. Bare minimum, right? April 30th in our county is the proposed lockdown till date. There's just too much stuff right now that's pointing to the fact that that's going to continue on, and we're going to continue to be in the position that we're at. That means for us, our business is still closed. We're still trying to operate online and manage what we can with that. Trying to produce for y'all what we can do to keep you engaged, active, and in a right frame of mind, for lack of a better description. So let me give you a little bit of what's happening in my life currently. I find that what we are doing right now is... I miss you too, Russ. What we're doing right now is... it feels like some days we're just trying to survive. And I know that there's a lot of us in the same boat with that. And we are. We're coming out of a very planned day for the most part, where we wake up, some of us go to work, some of us deal with our kids afterwards, we come home, then we go to bed. And now all of that is melded into one physical space during one day all together. And for some of us that are still going to work, it may look a little bit different. The place may be a little bit quieter, those kind of things. You may not have the same interactions that you get with the people that you normally have. And I know from talking to our members and our current members right now, that is a big piece of their day. They come to our gym to deload the day. It's their what's called third space. They have home, work, and then the gym. And for some of y'all, that may be a different place, but I know for a lot of our members, our gym is that third space for them. And so they get a lot of their day off their chest. They get to interact with people. And we have lost that ability, for the most part, of that face-to-face interaction that is necessary. You know, touch, feel, smell. Just the physical aspect is gone. And because of that, there is something that's happening, and I don't know if it needs to be addressed. And I wrote it up here so I wouldn't forget it. And it's hard to forget because it's happening to all of us, regardless of we want to admit it or not. We're all going through a bit of grief. Some have bigger degrees than others. And that grief is because everything has changed, because we've lost that physical connection with people, because we can't go into work, because we can't get away from our spouse or our family or our friends like we normally do. It's completely taken a different shape. And because of that can lead us down different roads that we need to really be aware of and focus on. This depression piece, you know, there's a lot of us that could probably be diagnosed with some form of depression, or we feel depressed. Right now is a big time for that to start poking its head up because of all the things that I've mentioned. And that grief piece is going to be tied into how you're feeling day to day. All right, so how do we manage that? It's fair to say that you just can't get rid of it. You have to adapt and you have to be proactive in trying to manage any kind of grief or depression, or it's going to grab a hold of you and feel like it's suffocating. And those that have been probably clinically diagnosed know what that feeling is and can sense it, but those of us that don't really know what that means for us, we need to be maybe aware of what that starts to look like. So before I go any deeper with this, if you feel like something is off, trust your gut, and it probably is. And there's plenty of people right now that you can talk to, friends, family members. You can pick up the phone and talk to them. I can put a link for the person that I talk to on a regular basis. Yes, I use a counselor. She's very good. But I think it's important right now, when we don't really have an outlet to find, maybe have an outlet to find somebody to do that with. And there's a lot of openings for people right now because they're doing either telehealth or something like that, and people aren't going into their office, according to my girlfriend the other day. So I would recommend that. But things that we can do to manage some of this stuff is the important part here. There's going to be, if you look at every day, it can start to look very similar, just like a routine. And the dangerous thing that you want to avoid is that routine, again, where everything starts to meld together. So that means you need to have some form of actual laid out plan for the day. I have been struggling with this 100%. It's tough because everybody is in the same household, where we used to could go up to our place of business or our work. One of the kids went to school. We kind of watched the other ones. We balanced that, and now everybody's stuck in here. And so we had a conversation the other day about what that looks like for us. Do we chunk it out in time blocks? You know, for me, I get up at a set time every morning for the most part to have some time for myself, and then we have our time in the evening, but there's this thing that's happening in between. And I know I'm not the only one in this boat, that it feels like it's just constant with stuff. And if we can't find a way to balance that, we're going to be here 30 days later not having really accomplished anything that we want to accomplish, but also probably worse for the wear mentally. And so I would just recommend plan out your day, create time blocks for yourself, and give your partner some time blocks too. You know, Shelly and I had that conversation about where we need to balance this, and with her potential new work coming up with stuff, it's going to be more important, because in a time now when it feels like we have less time, it's because we're not managing our time properly with what we're given. That's recommendation number one. Number two is to stay consistent with that. You know, it's for me, I'm driven by action. I like to be busy. Shelly could probably tell you that I would probably prefer to, but I could probably work as soon as the sun comes up till the sun goes down and not be 100% apologetic about it. It's somewhat of an issue, but it also is what drives me to keep doing things the way that I want to do them and move on. But if you normally, when you have to go to work, if you normally get up at 7 o'clock and you're starting to sleep in till like 9, when all of this comes out of that, you're going to have a harder time getting back to that. So you need to try to keep the same schedule at least for your wake up and your sleep time, and not shift because we've been given this freedom to do that. It's really easy to do, and believe me, there's days, which are most days, that I do not want to get up and tackle the day. But I know that when we dive back into this, that if I'm not staying consistent with this, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to get back into it than when we left. Okay, so consistency, and I preach that so much. Consistency is always key with all of this stuff. So you're getting up on time. Physical activity, since we are all probably a gym member or some form or fashion in this group, I have some notes about this. Because most of us have this grief thing going on, and because we have an ease right now to kind of slip into a depressive state, physical activity is important. But it's not so important that it needs to overtake the stress that's already being placed on your body. And what I mean by that is it's not a time to try to chase PRs and new milestones in your lifting. If you follow our lifting on, or our schedule on the Sugar Watt app, if you haven't joined the Sugar Watt app, this is where we're posting all of our daily workouts for you to do it. You'll notice that it's got a little bit of a change from what we normally do in the gym. So there's a couple reasons behind that. Number one is the equipment piece. Some of us have a full gym setup. If I could show you mine, I have pretty much everything I need to do CrossFit. You don't need all that stuff to do it, and we're proving that right now. You don't need a barbell to be fit and healthy. You don't need an assault bike. You don't need a skier. You don't need a rower. It helps, but all you really need is a kettlebell and a dumbbell and a PVC pipe and maybe a band. But here's the thing. When we are having these things happen to us, whether you think so or not, that's putting stress on our body. So the last thing we need is to add more stress by overloading ourselves with maximal weights or really super high intensity, because our nervous system, our central nervous system, can only take so much. And so what you'll see in our daily programming right now is stuff that's designed to make you sweat, but not overload the system for the most part. If you have a barbell, you get to use that not as frequently as we probably do in the gym. We have to be careful on balancing the three aspects that we're doing to make it to where it's not really three different workouts, but it's all kind of the same. But I will warn you, and this is a warning, for anybody out there that is trying to tackle getting more fit right now, you need to monitor it very closely, because these things right here, our sleep schedules are probably off. We're not moving around as much, and if you track your daily steps, I'd be willing to bet it's the proof right there that you need that you are not moving around as much. And because we're not moving around as much, we're sitting more. And because we're sitting more, we're putting our body in a bunch of different contorted ways that it's not supposed to be. And when we do that all day long or overnight, and we wake up and we come out and we try to throw around a weight that is beyond our capacity, which I talked about in a video the other day, that's where your injuries start to happen. Now all of a sudden, you've hurt yourself on a time when you're supposed to be able to work out every day, but you weren't listening to your body. You were trying to chase after something you don't need to be chasing after right now. And there's no need for it, right? While it feels like a long-term thing, it's still a short-term thing, because we are in this health piece for a long time. So you have to do the best you can with what you have to work with, which is what we're doing right now. And you'll also see in our programming that it may not feel like the intensity is as high as it was in the gym. Now, you can make intensity what you want. You just hit a workout harder and faster with less weight or more weight to make it more intense. So you do have that option. My point here is I just want to give you a fair warning that we are physically going through something right now, and whether you feel it or not, trying to become more fit in this time is not your best bet when you can focus your efforts in other places and utilize what you have to work with now to complement those other things that you're focusing on. Next piece, if you're sitting around all day and doing nothing, congratulations, I love that. I wish I could do it, but I can't. It's probably not in your best interest to do that and just binge on TV. You know, it's a great time to read a book. It's a great time to learn a new skill. Really, it's a great time to invest some more time with your kids. Admittedly, we've put in a little bit of effort, more effort with our children than we probably have in the past. Not saying we neglected them, but we're able to focus more attention on them throughout the day. And it turns out that they're still kind of annoying, even though I love them to death. But, you know, we have all these things in front of us that we can put our attention to, and you just have to be conscious of what that is and proactive in chasing that, because if you're not on a daily basis, then it's really easy to backslide and not do it anymore. Learning how to cook is a great time, since it's questionable ordering out. You're not able to go to the grocery store as much. You can order in, but you're kind of limited on what you can actually get. So learning how to actually meal prep or make quality food is a great time for this. And instead of spending more time watching TV or spending more time working out, we can focus some of that time and maybe get an extra hour of sleep. Go to bed earlier, read a book for an hour. All that stuff's better for your brain to avoid what's going on here. And this piece right here is one thing I talked about in the balance of capacity talk the other day. Guys, this stuff right here produces this. Lack of sleep produces this. Overloading your nervous system with heavy weights produces this. And when we keep piling more stress on more stress on more stress, worrying about your job, worrying about where your business is going to be in 30, 60, or 90 days, it's all fucked right now. And we have to manage what we're doing, because these three things are what are happening right now. So congratulations if you're being active. You need to do that. You just need to be cautious of what that activity is. Go out for a walk, throw some weights around, don't overload yourself, don't actively try to chase PRs, and come out of this with a better knowledge of how to get more sleep, how to cook, how to pay more attention to your kids, how to appreciate the friends that you have, how to appreciate the time that you have now found and that you knew you had, but you didn't take advantage of it. I'm only speaking from experience here right now. And quit worrying so much about what you have in your house, in your gym, in your home gym, what you can and can't do, and just be active. And because of this stress, depression, and grief, and sitting around all day and not eating probably quality foods, probably drinking a little bit more than we normally do, that's another stressor. It's a good time to focus on rehabbing your body. That means mobilizing your joints. That means working on things that you need to work on. If you've got bum shoulders, it's time to get them worked on. Not by a professional, by yourself. You know you can't overhead press on a barbell heavy. So what can we do? We mobilize, we stretch, we rest and recover on it. We try something different. We try different movements. It's an important time right now, and we're given we have been given this hidden blessing to learn how to appreciate some things in our lives that we were missing. I think we try to grind too much in our day-to-day. I think we ignore too much in our day-to-day, whether it's our family, friends, our kids, whatever. And we're given this time to do it. The problem is the uncertainty of where all this is heading is leading to some mental problems that we need to address. So, take that for what it's worth. Again, I don't want to psychoanalyze anybody. I just know what helps with stress, depression, anxiety, grief type stuff. The grief thing helps to talk to people. Depression helps to talk to people, but it also helps to be active. It helps to get more sleep. I want you to reach out to me if you're having any of those problems. And while I'm looking at my computer screen over here, if you have a question that maybe I can answer, I would love for you to throw that out right now. Thank you to everybody who has hopped on here to watch this. I appreciate it. I know for me, while I'm waiting for that, I'll just sum up what's been going on for us, and what's going on with the current state of affairs. And it has me worried but confident. When you have no options, that's kind of the best time to press forward. And I can vouch for the fact that stress catches up to you, and trying to mitigate that stuff because it's happening here. So, your job, my job for the next 30 days is to take care of ourselves and to pay more attention to that important stuff that we have going on now, and not focus so much on the negative outcomes, but the positive that we're gaining from all of this, because there is a lot of silver lining to what is happening right now. Cool. Again, if you have any questions on this, you can Thank you, Alan. I appreciate the kind words. And some of us, this may be the best thing. I've talked to a few people like, this is awesome. They're fucking rocking it and they love it. Me, personally, I don't mind it. I'm getting used to it. I like the fact that I can be diligent in some stuff throughout the day, but it still has its qualms. And some of those things that I talked about earlier in trying to manage that would be smart to try to do, and I need to take my own advice, and that's what we've been discussing. And that's why I felt the need to bring that out now. So, thank you, Renee. I appreciate it. I don't have to sit here and jibber jabber on for the rest of the time, but I will put this out there. Guys, if you're not following along with our day-to-day programming, go to sugarwad.com, look up our gym, Grapevine CrossFit, obviously, and join in. We have 3 tracks. We're doing a full gym, minimal gym, and body weight. I know who posts and who records each day. We had a lot of traction yesterday, which was awesome to see. And if you're not posting and you're following along with it, great. That's what it's there for. And I want you to understand that it may look different, it may feel different, but it's still the goal in mind. And I've done this, and I've trained this, and I've preached it for 10 years or more, is there is a purpose and a plan and a reason behind what we are doing day to day. And if it doesn't feel hard enough, if it doesn't feel like it's getting you fit, it is. It's keeping you mentally fit. It's not wearing your brain down. It's not wearing your body parts down. It's making you sweat. It's doing those kind of things. It's balancing out some problems that we may have. So if you're not following along with that, go ahead and get it. Ezra had a question. Where do you get groceries from? I'm struggling choosing good food during the online thing. I am buying more junk food than I ever have. I'm inspired by all the good food picks, but struggling to do it myself. Shelly, chime in here if she's watching. I think she is. We ordered food the other day from 2 places. One of them was a kind of pre-made, not pre-made, but a pre-packaged thing where you just throw it all into a pan, you chop it up, and it's interactive with yourself. Great tool if you want to learn how to cook, because they give you a recipe card, they give you all of the goods that come along with it, and literally all you have to do is cut the stuff up, throw it in a pan, and cook it. It's an awesome deal. She may or may not be watching. I can't remember the name of it, but I will go back and look and drop that in to the comments for this. And then the other one we ordered direct from a farm, which had fresh vegetables, fruits, grass-fed meats, free-ranged eggs, and those kind of things. I can drop that in there too because she's really slacking over here. The junk food piece, don't buy it. It's just like anything. If you have it in your house, it's going to get eaten. Trust me, I know, because I've been doing it too. Because we have what I would consider junk food, even though it's on the healthier side. It's easier to eat stuff and put bad things down when you don't have it in the house. And that can be said for what's going on with us right now, which I didn't really cover, but I'll cover right now. Boredom is part of this, and is part of this up here. I posted a meme to my Instagram the other day that was somebody opened the fridge and it said, close the door, you're just bored, come back later, or something to that effect. And that's true. So we find ourselves bored, and the first thing we do, I've caught myself doing it, is we go and open up the fridge. What is there to eat? It's a good time to snack. If you're a snacker, it's a dangerous time for you because you're going to continuously graze throughout the day, and then 45 days later, you're going to have put on 10 pounds and be like, where the fuck did that 10 pounds come from? And the best way I know to keep that from happening is don't buy it. So I see some votes here, Ezra, if you see them. So we ordered from Sunbasket, was the one where you cut up all the food, you throw it in, and you make it with a recipe card. Prime Now is where we've been shopping for our groceries. The problem with Prime Now is it's really hard to get a spot to have delivery done right now. So you have to be really diligent on trying to find that spot. If you're an Amazon Prime member, I don't think it costs any more. You can just download the app and have it delivered. It's from Whole Foods. So it works pretty well, and they usually have what you're looking for, although lately we've been running into them not having everything. Walnut Creek Farms was the farm that we ordered from for the fresh vegetables and fruits and grass-fed free-range meats. Nicholas Cantrell, he said, Grapevine Farmers Market, yes, they are still open. I think even the open air one over there, if that's what he's talking about, they have the one in the store. Any grocery stores are most open. That's a good spot too. And I don't know if they're still doing it on the weekends. He may be talking about that too, on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, to go buy some fresh goods over there. Sweet. Alan Walker said they went to Central Market. Now, Shelly's mom has done a couple runs to Central Market for us because she was over that way and was going to stop by there. And they're doing a really good job of managing who goes in, how much food you can buy, and they're not having any shortage problems. And that's what Alan said right here. We've seen that too. So Central Market's a good option right now. He said he went around 10 a.m. and didn't have any problems with getting in the queue to wait and no shortage. So that's a very good, very good option if you're willing to go out. Now, places like Instacart, I've heard, is pretty good too for ordering food. Central Market also does, I think they may still be doing pickup right now. The call ahead pickup, it may be kind of hit or miss with that, maybe, since given everything's going on, I haven't tried that, but there's a possibility there too. So Renee says Trader Joe's is doing a great job stocking the store too. They only let a certain number of people in at a time also. So good options there too. Thank you, Renee. That's great to know. Esri, I think on that note, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's definitely something that we all need to be aware of, is the eating aspect of this. Because we're stressed out, potentially depressed, we like to, as people, we like to reach for food and sweets, especially during these times when we're feeling kind of blue or dumpy or off. So that's also a good time to reach for more alcohol, I've seen as well. So it's just a smarter thing to just not have it around if you know you're going to have a problem with it. If you don't have it, you're not going to eat it. So, good question. That led to a lot of discussion. And the boredom thing, guys, that's where all this other stuff relates. If you're finding yourself bored on a daily basis, that means you need to get up and do something. Go for a walk, read a book, learn a new skill, learn a new hobby. Man, YouTube is the shit for learning anything new right now. If you want to learn how to be a photographer or a video editor, go hop on YouTube. Anything. It's crazy. All right. So if there are no more questions at this time, I guess I'll sign off. I'm sure I've talked y'all's ears off long enough. As I think through kind of the next steps with some of this stuff, I'll get back on here and talk about what I'm learning as I go along with this, and what I'm seeing talking to our members and friends and all that stuff. You know, it's I think we're just in the kind of beginning stages of this. So last thing, you're very welcome, Esri. And so let me touch on that. And then Shelly said, there's also a lot of free online courses for education on different websites. I know that Udemy, udemy.com, is like blowing out their courses right now also. But you can also definitely find a lot of stuff online. If there's something that you wanted to learn right now, dude, now's the time. Totally. It's a great time to do it. And for that matter, if you know anybody who needs to get in shape or could use this time to start getting in shape, send them our way. We'd love to help them out. Esri touched on willpower. I hate to tell you, Esri, willpower is not a thing. It's a great thought, but it's only going to get you so far. And the one thing that will trump willpower, and you're going to hate me, if you have a bad habit of eating a cookie every single night and you say, I'm not going to eat any cookies for 3 weeks, but you still have cookies in the house, tell me how much your willpower is going to work for you. Right? You have to create the habit to not eat the cookie every night in the first place for it to not be a problem. And I don't mean that to sound rude or nasty. It's a great point that I want to bring up about willpower. And anything that you find with people that are performers in their industries, high-level athletes, good CrossFitters, just good at what they do, it's the habits that they've formed and the consistency that they've done over time that's led them to be there. So, sweet. Little side note. I hope that answered some questions. Again, if you have any questions, any other questions, you can drop them here, or you can shoot them to me, Brandon at grapevinecrossfit.com. I'd love to discuss them with you. I'm also open to office hours. Like we have a thing that we're doing on Sundays called office hours. You can sign up, and if Sunday doesn't work for you, shoot me a message. I'll send you a Zoom link and we can hop on a call. I can't promise you something right away or whatever, but if there's something you do want to talk about nutrition wise, workout wise, life, just want to see my shiny face, I'm here. This is the way of the future now. So just know that I want to support you in what's going on as much as I know y'all want to support us. So we're doing what we can to do that. If you have anything else, send it my way. And thank you to everybody who stopped by to check this talk out. I really appreciate it. Again, just thanks for everything, for everyone that's backing us and listening to me and supporting everybody that I've seen, hopping on calls, man, it's really cool to see what we've developed, making its thing, making its way around, and having everybody interact with each other the way that they want to. So I love all y'all, man. So let's knock this shit. Let's knock this next 30 days out and keep it real and not let this stuff take a hold of us, okay? All right. So happy, what is today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.